You are not here by accident. The challenges you're facing, the heartbreak, the setback, the quiet moments of doubt, these are not signs that you're losing. They're signs that something far deeper is taking shape. The battle you're facing is not here to destroy you. It's here to evolve you. Now, I want you to think differently for a moment. Not from the familiar past, not from your pain, not from your conditioned identity, but from the version of you that already knows the blessing is real. The version of you that has already crossed the valley and stands in full view of the mountain. Because what if, just what if, the battle is the exact path toward the blessing? What if this pressure is the mechanism through which divine order expresses itself in public victory? Let's look at this differently. Every emotion you feel is a chemical signature. Every thought you think, every belief you hold, creates a neurochemical environment within you. The mind is not just in the brain. Your entire body is your subconscious mind. So when you are in a battle, whether it's emotional, financial, relational, you are also swimming in a field of information, energy, possibility, and that field responds to the internal state you choose to maintain. Your survival emotions, fear, anger, unworthiness, can wire and fire the same circuits over and over again, keeping you in a predictable past. But the moment you choose to feel gratitude for a blessing that hasn't arrived yet, you signal to the field that it already exists. This is where faith meets biology. This is where spiritual law meets quantum law. And this is why your battle is not random. It's an invitation. So here's the truth. God, or the intelligent divine energy that animates all life, is not punishing you with this challenge. God is positioning you to become someone new. Not just to receive a blessing, but to become the kind of person who naturally lives in the frequency of that blessing and that transformation. It's visible, it's undeniable, it's public. You see when you evolve inwardly, when you love in the face of betrayal, when you hope in the face of delay, when you speak abundance even in lack. You are broadcasting a new electromagnetic signature into the field. You become a magnet for a new reality, not just quietly but visibly. What you practice in private, yourself, discipline, your surrender, your elevated emotions, will be rewarded in the open. The universe echoes what you broadcast, and what was once hidden in the dark will be revealed in the light. So I want to leave you with this: the battle is not personal, it's purposeful. The fire is not punishment, it's refinement, and the struggle is not rejection, it's preparation. God is not trying to break you. God is trying to reveal you. You are not being buried, you're being planted. And when the time is right, the roots you've grown in silence will produce fruit in front of everyone who thought you wouldn't make it. Don't shrink, don't settle, feel the blessing before it arrives. Live it emotionally, mentally, spiritually, right now, because the moment you believe it's already yours, you become it. And when that happens, the battle will not just end. It will transform into a public blessing, a visible miracle, a life that proves it was worth it. The battle is not here to destroy you, but to evolve you. That's a radical reframe, one that challenges our conditioned way of thinking. Most people meet difficulty and immediately default to survival, fear, resistance, blame, or emotional withdrawal. But what if the very thing you're fighting is the thing forming you? What if the challenge was designed with intelligence, to expand your awareness, to shift your identity, to draw out a level of strength, compassion, and vision that would never emerge in ease? When we're in a battle, the mind craves familiarity. It wants to predict, to control, to make sense of the chaos. But evolution doesn't occur in comfort zones. Neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to rewire itself, only activates when we are stretched, when we must think, feel, and choose differently. Every time you encounter a battle and resist reacting the same way, you're forging new neural pathways. You are literally becoming someone new. The stress, when met consciously, becomes the catalyst for transformation. Your current struggle is not evidence of your inadequacy. It's a signal that life is asking you to let go of the old version of yourself, the version that was too small to carry the next level of purpose. The frustration, the uncertainty, the emotional heaviness, They are not signs of failure. They are the breaking apart of old paradigms, the dismantling of subconscious patterns, the detoxing of familiar but limiting beliefs. When you stay present with the battle and engage it from a higher consciousness, not as a victim but as a co-creator, you activate the evolutionary process. Your biology responds, your energy shifts, and your future begins to organize itself around this elevated identity. The pain, then, isn't random, it's precise, it's intelligent, and it's doing more for your growth than comfort ever could. Your emotional state shapes your future reality. This isn't just a feel-good concept, it's a measurable biological truth. Every emotion you feel releases a specific chemical cocktail into your body, which in turn affects your thoughts, your decisions, and even your genetic expression. If you're living in a state of chronic stress, fear, anger, resentment, you're not just experiencing those emotions psychologically. Your entire body is being conditioned to expect and recreate the same emotional reality. Over time, that emotional signature becomes your personality, and your personality drives your personal reality. The quantum field, the invisible realm of energy and potential, responds not to what you want intellectually, but to who you are energetically. If you wake up every day feeling lack, worry, or defeat, you're broadcasting those frequencies into that field, and by law, you begin to attract experiences that affirm them. Not because life is punishing you, but because life is responding to you. Your emotional state is like a tuning fork. It calls back whatever resonates with its frequency. Now, this also means you hold incredible power. The moment you shift your emotional state, elevating it to gratitude, love, joy, or inspiration, you are biologically and energetically signaling a new future. You're no longer living by the memory of the past, but by the vision of what's coming. Neurons begin to fire in new sequences, hormones change, heart rhythms synchronize, and your field, your personal energetic signature, becomes coherent. This is when synchronicities start to happen, doors open, and outcomes shift. You cannot create a new future from the same emotional landscape that built your past. Emotion is not just a reaction to reality, it is a tool for designing it. When you master your emotional state, you master the blueprint of what's coming next. Gratitude for the unseen blessing creates alignment with it. Most people wait for external conditions to change before they allow themselves to feel elevated emotions. They wait for the healing before they feel whole, for the promotion before they feel successful, for the relationship before they feel loved. But this is living by cause and effect. The truth is, when you feel gratitude ahead of the event, you are no longer waiting for the blessing. You are aligning with it now. You become the cause that generates the effect. This is how you begin to live as if your future is already real. Gratitude is a powerful emotional signature because it implies the event has already happened. When you truly feel grateful for something you're not hoping, it's already yours in your heart. That feeling signals to your brain and body that the new reality has arrived. And because the body doesn't know the difference between a real event and one you vividly imagine with elevated emotion, you begin to biologically live in that future. Your nervous system rewires, your chemistry changes, and you start embodying the energy of your answered prayer. When this internal shift happens, the field around you begins to respond. Reality begins to organize in ways that match your elevated state. You move from a place of longing to a state of receiving. You stop trying to force outcomes and start becoming the version of you that naturally attracts them. This is not pretending or performing. It's creating internal coherence. It's sending a clear, consistent signal into the field that you're ready. Gratitude becomes the bridge between the unseen and the seen, between the internal and external. It's how you collapse time and draw the future into your now. You must become the person who naturally lives in the blessing. This means stepping beyond the version of yourself that was shaped by survival, scarcity, or old identity patterns. Most people try to create a new life while remaining emotionally anchored to their pastry, acting to the same triggers, thinking the same thoughts, making the same choices. But the person who lives in the fulfillment of the blessing you're praying for does not carry the energy of lack, fear, or doubt. That version of you walks, speaks, and decides from a completely different internal space. Becoming is not about pretending or forcing change. It's about rewiring your inner world, emotionally, neurologically, energetically, until it reflects the reality you want to step into. Every day, you have the opportunity to mentally rehearse being that future version of yourself. When you repeatedly think and feel from that elevated state, your brain begins to build new networks, your body starts to memorize that future, and your identity begins to shift. This is how you teach your system what it feels like to already be that person. Your environment doesn't have to confirm it yet. Your current circumstances don't need to match what you're becoming. That's the work to remain loyal to your future, not your past. The more consistently you live in alignment with the elevated emotions of the person who already has the blessing, peace, confidence, love, clarity, the more natural that state becomes. You don't chase outcomes. You embody the frequency of the reality where those outcomes are inevitable. This is not about fixing the old self, but giving energy to the new self. You create momentum not by doing more, but by becoming different. The blessing then doesn't just come to you. You become a match for it. God is positioning you, not punishing you. When you're in the midst of difficulty, it can feel like something is working against you. Plans fall apart, doors close, relationships shift, and the natural response is to interpret it as rejection or failure. But what if it's divine redirection? What if every setback is a precise adjustment in your path, moving you, aligning you, preparing you to stand in a place you wouldn't have chosen, but are ultimately meant to occupy? We often ask for growth, for purpose, for expansion, but we rarely choose the process that leads there. The positioning doesn't always feel like progress. It can feel like confusion, like silence, like being stuck. But when a higher intelligence is at work, things are happening beyond your awareness. What looks like delay is often development. What feels like loss may be making space. Sometimes God removes what you think you need so that you can discover what you truly carry. Positioning requires surrender. It asks you to trust the unseen, to lean into the discomfort, to release your timeline and your agenda. It calls for faith not just in outcomes, but in process. You are being moved into alignment with people, moments, and opportunities that match your next level, not your current one. That means certain things must be shaken, certain habits have to die, and certain versions of you have to be left behind. This isn't punishment, it's preparation. It's the recalibration of your soul's compass so you end up exactly where you're meant to be, doing exactly what you were designed to do. In this kind of positioning, your job isn't to understand everything. It's to remain available, responsive, and obedient to the subtle shifts pulling you forward. Private transformation leads to public reward. The most powerful changes happen long before anyone notices. It's in the quiet moments of decision, in the unseen hours of discipline, in the inner battles no one else witnesses. This is where real transformation begins, not on a stage, not in a highlight reel, but in solitude, in silence, in surrender. When you choose to think differently, speak differently, respond differently, even when circumstances haven't changed, you are reprogramming your entire being to hold a greater reality. We live in a world that celebrates results, but often overlooks the invisible process that creates them. The reward is public, but the refinement is private. The moments you get back up after failure, forgive when no one apologizes, believe when everything says give up, those are sacred moments. They may feel insignificant, but they are the exact moments where your new identity is being built. You're forming the inner architecture strong enough to carry the blessing without it crushing you. Every time you choose integrity when compromise would be easier, you reinforce the foundation of your future. Every time you stay faithful to the vision in your heart rather than react to what you see, You are tuning yourself to the frequency of the breakthrough. These invisible shifts accumulate, they're not wasted. The field responds to your energy, not your performance. The universe, God, life, it all honors alignment, and when the time is right, that inner alignment manifests externally in ways no one can deny. Public reward is not about recognition, it's about resonance. What you've cultivated in the dark begins to radiate in the light. People may call it overnight success, but you'll know it was every quiet, private choice that built the strength to receive it. Your energy broadcasts your future into the field. Every thought you think and every emotion you feel generates an electromagnetic signature that extends beyond your physical body. You are constantly sending out signals, whether conscious of it or not, and those signals interact with the quantum field of infinite possibilities. That field doesn't respond to what you say you want, it responds to who you are being. Your energy is a message, and that message determines what gets drawn back to you. Most people live in reaction to their environment. They let circumstances dictate their emotions, and in doing so, they continue to send out the same signal every day. If you're constantly feeling frustrated, worried, or defeated, that's the frequency you're broadcasting. And the field mirrors that back, not because life is unkind, but because it's precise. The energetic message you emit becomes the invitation for what shows up next. You are not attracting what you desire, you are attracting what you are. The shift begins when you decide to generate a new signal, when you consciously choose elevated emotions like gratitude, love, empowerment, even before your reality gives you a reason to. That choice sends out a different frequency, one that aligns with outcomes you haven't yet seen. The field responds not to hope, but to coherence. And when your thoughts, emotions, and actions begin to reflect a new reality, you change your attraction point. This is why inner work matters more than effort alone. You can hustle all day, but if your energy is rooted in lack, struggle, or fear, the results will match. But when your inner environment is aligned with abundance, peace, and purpose, your outer world begins to arrange itself to reflect that signal. The future is not just something you wait for, it's something you signal. Spiritual and quantum laws both respond to identity, who you are being in each moment, your thoughts, emotions, and intentions, determines the energetic signature you send into the field. This identity is not your name, your role, or your personality. It's the internal state you embody consistently. Both spiritual truth and quantum reality reflect back what you are, not what you wish for. You don't receive what you ask for intellectually, you receive what your energy declares is true. When you live from an identity rooted in fear, doubt, or limitation, you unconsciously align with outcomes that reinforce those states. It's not punishment, it's reflection. The field, like a mirror, cannot give you what you haven't become. Spiritually, this is the law of sowing and reaping. Quantum physically, this is resonance and coherence. You emit a vibration, and the universe organizes itself to match it. Your identity becomes the blueprint for your experiences. Transformation begins when you shift who you are being, not by striving, but by surrendering the old identity and rehearsing the new one. You must see yourself as already healed, already whole, already chosen. When you emotionally inhabit that future self, even if nothing externally has changed, you collapse time. Your body starts to believe it's real. Your subconscious begins to rewire. The field takes that as truth and begins shaping reality accordingly. Identity is the anchor. It drives your behavior, influences your perception, and dictates what you allow yourself to receive. You don't change your life by forcing outcomes. You change it by changing the internal container receiving them. When spiritual alignment and energetic coherence are in place, both laws respond. Your prayers begin to carry weight, not because you pleaded louder, but because you're being matched the reality you desired to experience. You are not being buried, you're being planted. When life feels overwhelming, when obstacles pile up and hope seems distant, It can feel like you're being buried under the weight of circumstances. But this is a powerful metaphor for transformation. Like a seed that must be covered by soil and darkness before it can grow, your current experience is the necessary environment for your next level of growth. The pressure, the isolation, and even the discomfort are all part of the process preparing you to break through. Seeds don't grow on the surface. They need to be underground, out of sight, gathering strength and energy before pushing upward. In the same way, your apparent setbacks and struggles are not signs of defeat, but signs of gestation. What looks like being buried is really the beginning of a new emergence. This period of concealment allows you to develop roots, to anchor deeply into your purpose, values, and inner strength. It's a time when you cultivate resilience, patience, and trust in the unseen. Many people fear being hidden or overlooked. But the truth is that what is planted beneath the surface has the potential to grow taller, stronger, and more beautiful than what blossoms in the open without foundation. The darkness isn't a curse, it's a womb of possibility. Your challenges create fertile soil for new ideas, new habits, and new perspectives to take hold. When you realize you're being planted, not buried, your relationship to struggle changes. You begin to understand that growth is happening even when you can't see it. You start to surrender the need for immediate results and instead nurture your inner world. This quiet development sets the stage for a powerful public bloom, where the roots you've grown support a life that rises confidently, reaching toward the light with unstoppable force. The battle becomes the very platform for your visible blessing. Often, we see struggle as something to escape, a barrier between us and success. But the truth is that the difficulty you face is not separate from your blessing. It is the foundation on which it will stand. Every trial, every moment of resistance, every challenge shapes and strengthens you in ways that comfort never could. The battle tests your resolve, stretches your faith, and expands your capacity to receive. When you go through a battle consciously, with awareness and intention, you begin to extract wisdom from the struggle. You learn about your own strength, about the depth of your resilience, and about the power of surrender. These lessons become part of your story, part of the testimony that will inspire others and solidify your own belief in what is possible. Your scars become symbols of your courage, and your endurance becomes the light that guides your path forward. This transformation doesn't happen overnight. The battle refines you over time, like gold being purified by fire. It removes impurities, old fears, limiting beliefs, and patterns that no longer serve you, so you emerge more authentic, aligned, and ready to receive. The very thing that once felt like an obstacle becomes the launching pad for your breakthrough. When the blessing arrives, it is not separate from the battle, it is its natural consequence. Because you didn't avoid the struggle, you grew into the person capable of handling the gift. The blessing is often public because the transformation is visible. People notice the change in your presence, your confidence, and your energy. Your journey becomes proof that battles are not endings but beginnings, that what feels like the lowest point can become the highest platform. The struggle was never just about survival. It was about preparation for a blessing so great it demands to be seen.